I was thinking about this, though, regarding the Caps, and maybe we can do this later in the show. I know yesterday was all Caps all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But this is absolutely, and this is just something that happens as your season progresses. So this is a no-brainer. Obviously, biggest game of the year for the Caps tonight. That's a no-brainer, not even worth discussing. But could you make the argument it might be one of the biggest games in the franchise's history?
Yes, you could.
No.
Yes, you could.
No, they've been to this is the
game
first
sevens,
round,
et cetera, et cetera.
Of course, been a bunch of
But
game
here's
sevens.
why.
And they've
Can
been
I
in
make the
further
argument
rounds.
why?
But it's still one of. It might not be the biggest.
I'm
It's
not
one
saying
of.
it's the. I'm saying one
And
of.
by the way, they were in the Stanley Cup.
Right, but here's why.
Yeah, but this team's expected to do more. Even
Exactly. So here's my point. So this team's supposed to was the favorites going in. Now that doesn't mean much because whatever. It's only 20% chance. But they were the favorites going in. You have experts going on record saying if they lose, it could be considered one of the worst losses in the history of the NHL. If they go down 3-1, it's not over, but no one can realistically believe that they're likely to win the series. They did everything in their power to tweak the roster. This is supposed to be the team. And if they lose tonight, for all intents and purposes, it's a catastrophic loss in the first round for a team that was favored to win it all. I think you can make the argument it's one of the biggest games in the franchise's history.
Absolutely it is.
I don't buy into that at all because they've been in a Stanley Cup. I think you're a prisoner of the moment. Even if you just looked at last year, first of all, they were deeper against the Penguins. And so I think each of those games is bigger than a first-round matchup. And last year, they won the President's Trophy as well. So the expectations were super high last year.
No, because game one of that series wasn't as big as this game.
Yeah, here's the thing. Sometimes when you
game
advance,
one of a series isn't as big as a game where if you lose, you're down 3-1, and the chances you
but
win
the
the
elimination game would be bigger.
No, but here's the
Okay,
thing.
I'll give you that.
Maybe, but see, if you reach a certain level, like you get to the second round of the playoffs and you lose, that sucks. But it doesn't suck if you lose in the first. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
This is a big game.
Yeah.
I don't know how you want to quantify it. I don't know where you want to rank it.
I don't know where to rank it, but I think it's one of the biggest.
It's one of the biggest.
Because you could also make the argument that sometimes when teams just completely fall flat like this and they put everything on the line, I'm not suggesting they're going to blow it up, but they could majorly tweak it.
They could.
You know,
a lot of people
could
around
do.
town are talking about how they should blow it up if they can't win this year.
Well, I think it's going to naturally blow up because they can't bring back all these guys.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Shattenkirk and Alsner.
This could be
and
the end of an
TJ
era.
All right, but I'm
because
talking
of
about
salary.
possibly moving one of the big guns, the guys who are under
I
contract.
don't think they would move.
Probably
Ovi's
not
too
Ovi.
much.
You're probably
and
right.
Backy, they're not because he's so good.
Okay, it's fine, but it's not working with those guys. And you probably can't move Ovi with his number.
It's still early. They can win this game and win this series and get right and ultimately win the Stanley Cup
They
Finals.
could.
We're
I'm
assuming
just
the
saying,
worst.
if they lose, you can't reasonably argue that they're going to win the series and everything's all good.
Are you saying that you expect them to win tonight?
I do.
See, I just don't.
I don't know what to expect. I think it's a 50-50.
Here's
I think it's
actually what I
50-50.
expect. I expect it to be an overtime game, and I think the Caps will be on the right side of this game because every game goes into overtime. It's close, and I do think the Caps are the better team based on the regular season.
I don't
So
think
the
they're the better
odds
team.
are
I don't think they're
that
the
they're
better
gonna-
team based on the series.
They're not.
They look
The
like the
odds
worst
are
team.
They've been
if
out
They
there.
look like the oldest,
if
slowest
they
team ever.
If they
Absolutely.
return to form, they should get a W. So, yes, I expect them to win.
Yeah, I don't know what return to form is.
Like the president winning.
Yeah.
All right, but that's a totally different.
Here's the
the
regular season's
season doesn't mean
completely
anything.
different.
And maybe play OV more than 15 minutes.
Well, I
which
think they're gonna
Alan
do
May
that.
talked about that yesterday, and it should be a point of emphasis to play your best players a little bit more.
The cynical part of me, when things are going bad, just wants to write off Ovi as a one-trick pony, at this point. I don't know. Maybe get an extra look from that left corner or whatever.
But yes, it's one of the biggest games.
Yeah.
It just is.
I think it is personally. I think you can make the argument it's one of the biggest games in franchise's history because it would be right up there. I mean, if you listen to Alan May, who knows this team better than Alan May? He said it would be catastrophic. It would be the worst loss, worse than Montreal, worse than some of these other catastrophic losses that this team's had.
Well,
So
have
how
they
can
ever
that not
lost-
be a big game?
Well, have they ever lost a series where they were one seed against an 8?
I'm sure, but not necessarily where they were as favored as
I wouldn't
this.
say I'm sure. I would say probably not.
Don't know.
Well, didn't they lose?
I would bet against it too. But
Hold on. Wasn't Montreal an 8 seed one time when we lost to them? I can't
don't know.
remember. I can't remember. I'm too old.
Pedro, do you remember?
I don't know. I don't know where Pete is.
I just, you know what? I don't feel good about this game. I think they're going to lose this game. But like I said yesterday, I think they're going to win games 5 and 6.
To
Just-
tease you.
Yes.
See, I think the opposite. I think if they lose tonight,
Yeah, you think they're
complete
going to
utter
lose?
collapse.
You think they're going to lose like the who did San Jose beat last night? 7-0.
I think I do. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I think if they lose tonight, that game
Edmonton.
5 will be a catastrophic loss.
I think they
Just
win
complete
tonight.
failure.
Nah.
Fall off and just because the guys know they can't win.
I know, but Toronto's not good enough to beat them. 6-1.
It's more about us than it is Toronto.
I don't think they're going to lay down.